Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Peggy from the Pearl Forest, and today we're going to do putting color on paper for signatures, collages, etc. And I'm going to use this plastic kind of like lacy doily to put some paint through. So I have a number of started paint things from old activity sheets. I have a lot of those. So I'm just going to lay this on a couple of these at once so that we can get more of this lacy thing on. So let's see. Not sure how I would like to do it. Let's try some red. This brush is blue, so I don't want to use that. I think we need something soft, like perhaps this brush. But we don't want a lot. So I'm just going to dab it over the stencil and try not to move it. And I may use more than one color, so I might jump around a little and then come back in with a different color. This is another way to put color on your page and add some interest and cover up possibly something that's on your paper that you don't want to show, or at least completely show. So you can dab on some paint. Like I said, we'll try several colors. So we'll kind of dab these around. Hope you're having a great day today and that you'll have fun perhaps painting with me, or maybe you'll be working on another part of your crafts while you watch. Could be something even totally different, like embroidery, which I do some also in conjunction with my journals, and I also do it for other parts. Hand sewing. You could do fussy cutting while you watch and listen. You could be making your own journal cards and things, or painting along with me. Okay, there's some red areas. Now let's try some yellow, which will be also orange because I'm not cleaning my dish or my brush, but that's okay. And I'm not being careful as to where I've gone already, overlapping them a little bit. I think that just adds to the look. Obviously, I've used this lacy stencil thing before. It's actually a placemat, probably. Supposed to be, anyway. I've used it for painting and for dyeing, so it already has some other color on it. So we'll just use up the paint that I got out, and then we'll try something else. Perhaps some gold. I kind of did them in that order because I figured they would work better, not turn to mud. Some gold up here. I haven't tried this dabbing method with this stencil before, so we'll see how this comes out. Gold down there. I need some more. There are so many different ways to add color to your paper. we'll explore a lot of them, but certainly not everything that's humanly possible. I'm not sure that anyone knows everything. I certainly don't know everything. Well, let's get this fun circle in the middle here. A little bit of gold in these areas, even if I don't do them completely. Okay, a little tiny bit left in our cup, so I think where the blue is, there's nothing. And then to not waste this, let's do some more of our envelopes on here. Grab several to pick up the print from the back. Oops. We stuck these in some blue paint, but oh well. My project for these doesn't matter what the back looks like, so just use it to dry my hands off. Okay, we'll see what we can pick up from this side, and then we'll check out the other side. So we have this lacy pattern. Which is a nice start to our envelopes. Oops. Sometimes things like this that have open spots, I may use some of these to come back one day and show you how you can use watercolor with them. Got quite a splotchy right there. So I think I'll just kind of dab some of it off. Share the wealth with somebody else. Now let's take this off, which still has a bunch of paint on it. And now we have these. I guess we'll set this to the side for just a minute. I am going to come back and blot them off some, but I think I'll put something else down here. That I can rub the paint off. Oops. Blot it off a little bit. Not only is it less wasteful to make use of this, but it's also less messy. So we got some there. We'll hang this over here to dry. Got a little bit of a start here. Why don't we just use them to blot these off? So, oops, hopefully my head isn't in the way. So there we go. We have these. And some of these you'll see come back because I'll add another technique with them. Okay, here's a splotch of that gold. We'll just clean it up. Speaking of cleaning it up, let's kind of clean off the desk here where we have splotches of blue. So I don't keep sticking my hand in those. Not that I'm clean hands or anything. Okay, so that's what we added to this one. You can't really see the lacy pattern as much as I had hoped. You actually see it on the cleanup on the other side more. Okay, now let's try taking some other ones and doing like some bubble wrap Maybe I'll roll it on here, put some paint on here. Popping a few bubbles. I'll just use this textured surface. So we got some bubbles on here. Sometimes if we push, it's actually, we can get more paint out. It gets kind of stuck in the little cracks in between. We don't want to pop all of our bubbles, so we'll have to start fresh with new bubble wrap. Okay, we'll take this one. And pick up a little bit of that. Okay, we have some stencils up here that are sort of like the lace placemat. Here's one with some gears. So we could put this on here. Try to stick, we'll take out our plastic mat. We have paper underneath that can catch whatever isn't on here. And let's see, what color would we like to put on here? Hang off our roller a little bit. Yeah, how about some yellow? So I'm just going to put it on the stencil in a couple bigger spots here. And I think I'll just use this brush again to sort of brush it into the stencil spots. Usually a pouncing type brush works better because you don't want to get under where the stencil is. But this is soft enough, I think it will work. If not, we'll find out. It won't really matter. We're experimenting. Usually I use these on the jelly plate or with the distress ink. Let's see, maybe we need a different color. Maybe a little brown. See, I'm putting them on these flat spots so I can just brush it off that out to these other places. And if we don't get it completely in the stenciled spots, that's okay. It might just look a little grungy. A little weathered or vintage. And let's try some gold out here. I guess we'll put it on here and here and here. And I'm not sure exactly where my edge of my paper is, but that's okay. Like I said, there's paper underneath. It's taking advantage of whatever we go over the edge with. Hopefully we get it over the whole page, ideally. Whoops. That might have gone under some. These are definitely off the edge. Maybe a little in this brown one that didn't have a lot of brown. Okay, before we pull this up, let's put another one on top. Maybe this one would be nice. We can pull the design up this way. By pushing, we can get down into the holes where the paint got in there, and up on the stencil as well. While we can see where that is, let's collect some extra onto the envelope. There. And a little there. Okay. So this one, you can see a little, it's not clear, but you can see a little bit of the pattern got on there. And now let's see what we have down here on this one. Yeah, that brush method didn't work as well. So let's see. We'll blot this off on this paper. And we'll turn this over. And clean this up on this one. Which didn't put much of anything on there, so we'll throw that back in the pile. Okay, let's see what we have here. A little bit of extra on this. And that's still interesting, but it didn't work like I'd like it to with the stencil because I don't have the proper stencil brush out here. Now, another way to do it, like this definitely needs something more. And this one that has some texture, but maybe we'll just do one at a time. We can maybe use, let's see, we'll use our plastic mat for a template, or for a palette. Put this on this end and this will be the palette. So let's see, you can add some red. This one's running low. Might be able to finish that. It's a little runny. Now this one we want to lose the pictures because we don't want them for what we're doing. Plus they're, well, they're all, I guess, if we're using things, are probably copyrighted, but for our purposes, we don't really want to see these guys. They're going to need another layer of something also. So we can put a layer on just with the brayer. So that one looks nice. This one needs something more. Where's our brown? I think it needs something dark. You can tell this is fairly translucent as well, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Oops, come on. take a moment to get the excess paint picked up. That out of the way. And I think we'll do some more envelopes, so I'm still trying to add to that collection. I'm not sure what order you will see things in. You might see my envelopes before I paint them. I don't know. Even if I do them in a certain order, it doesn't mean that somebody watches them in that order. So you can bear that in mind. Things might be out of order sometimes. This one is starting to stick and pull up paper. It's a sign that it's too wet and a thin piece of paper. But it's not the end of the world at all. Matter of fact, I think that is way too much paint. Is a good use for this paint. Not anywhere near that much. But we'll just put a coat of this over here. It'll give it a little translucent shine. Now this page is going to be extra wet, so we'll have to let it dry. So I probably won't show you this one at the end because it'll be very wet. But we've covered up those holes. I'm going to set it over here to dry. Okay, we can try another stencil. Let's put the paint on the paper. We'll just try this green one. And let's mix. Oh, that's a big goobers. Let's put on some lighter green and a little yellow. This will be our last one because I'm not sure how long I'm keeping you here. Kind of mix them together, and let's just paint it quickly before it dries over our paper. I hope we have enough to cover our paper. The thinner it is, the quicker it's going to dry, so we have to really hurry. We're going to have to call that good. Put our stencil on here and choose another paper, and I think we'll push on it good. Okay, let's see what it did. So we added some green around the edge. Not much in the way of the pattern. It already had the dots. Let's see what it did with our stencil. Just a whisper hint of our stencil. Not very much at all, but you can see it a little bit in our paint. And we could take these and see if we can, we don't want to roll because we don't want to add other paint. There may be some paint stuck to this, but probably not. Okay. Let's try, I know I said that was going to be the last one, but let's try one more. Put this beige one down. I know this doesn't cover the whole thing, but see if we can get enough to go over the stencil. We're getting it on the stencil, then around the edges. We'll just put some out there, and then we'll put this one on. Maybe, oh look, we're getting it to come through. Oh, I think I moved it. So there, we put some on the back and on the front a little bit, but not so much on here. We could clean off our rolling area here. Pick up some of this extra. So there you have it. Not exactly as thrilling of a success as I would have liked. We have this one where we tried the stencil. On the jelly plate, they work a lot better. This has a little bit of the stencil. It has a lot more on the back. We have this one that already had the paint with the dots, and I just mostly added some green, and I don't really see the stencil in there at all. This one is too wet to put in the stack, but if you look closely, you can see a little hint of the stencil. This one, I'm maybe a little stencil in there. Yeah, a little bit, but not very much. This one we could see the gear stencil, except they're blurry because I think it's the wrong paintbrush. This one, a little hint of this lacy stencil. This one is the bubble wrap dots on here, and this has some stencil and bubble wrap, I believe. This mostly ends up looking like blobs of paint. I'm not sure what we were doing with that. That's how well the stencils were working. You have a little bit of stencil coming through here, not much. This one, just cleaning up on something. You can get a little bit of texture in there from some things, but not a lot there either. And our orange one over there, I said I wasn't going to show you because it's really, really wet. This, I think, these worked the best. The back side of the stencil, cleaning up and getting a lacy print on some of our napkins, envelopes for a start. I think that was the best part of our success for today. But you know, you win some, you lose some. That's okay. Check back with the Pearl Forest another day and see what we make. Hopefully it'll be even more fun and more successful. Thank you. This is Peggy saying goodbye and have a great day.